Welcome to a very special episode of Cosmic Road. Today, me and Patrick from Vetted, the podcast Vetted, are going to have a conversation for an hour and a half or so, and I hope you get a lot out of it. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please like and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, at first we're just talking about sports and just random stuff, getting to know you stuff. But then we do eventually, shortly, talk about UFOs. So I hope you enjoy this conversation between me, Cosmic Road, and Patrick from Vetted. Here you go. All right, there you go. How's it going, man?
Hey, Jack, what's up, dude?
Oh, nothing. How are you doing?
Oh, crushing it today, as always. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. It's going good. Good day, man. Sun's out, right? Weather. Where you at in Texas? Are you?
College Station.
Oh, shit. No, dude, I love that part of Texas, man.
It's a
To
beautiful
be
part of
honest.
Texas.
Yes, such a beautiful part of Texas. It's where Texas A&M is. I used to go there a lot, long time ago. To go visit friends and stuff. Yeah. I lived in Austin for a long time, pretty close to
And me too.
that.
I'm an Austin boy. I was
Yeah.
raised and spent most of my life in Austin. I'm a Longhorn, but now I'm in the land of the enemy and the Aggies.
That is the enemy, dog. So are you an Aggies fan? Are you
No, no, not at all, not at all. But I mean, I guess I prefer them over somebody else.
sure?
You,
It's a
you
Texas
know,
team at the end of it,
that's
right?
a
Like,
Texas team.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, they're
That's
fun.
funny.
They're good people. They're good people.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
when it comes to like sports, like loyalties, I feel it's always in good fun, right? It's for the most part. I
Yeah,
mean, it
yeah,
can
yeah.
get a little
People that
crazy.
wish death upon your sports enemies. Yeah, maybe going a little far. Maybe
I
going a
think
little
that's
far.
a that's a little far. And maybe just like real war, that's different, right? We're
Right.
talking we're talking a ball in a net or a ball in a
Yeah.
field and right. Yeah, no, I get it. Look, it's kind of one of the best things about sports is pushing up to that line of rooting for the team and maybe going a little too far after a few drinks with somebody, you know what I mean? It's kind of part of it a little bit. So I'm in when it comes to
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I'm not like a huge sports guy, but I grew up
Me
watching the
neither.
Longhorn games, and
Yeah,
I love the horns, and it's a fun thing to do. Do
for
you
sure.
get together with some friends and family and watch a game? I mean, why not, right?
Absolutely, man. Yeah. I never watched college football, actually. Not sure why too much. I don't know why. There's just always so many sports to watch. It's like hard to keep up with everything, you know?
What's your sport?
I'm kind of like you. I don't really watch sports anymore,
Yeah,
but I did
yeah.
when I was younger. I played hockey a lot growing up, so I would always watch hockey games. I played basketball, football, so I would kind of watch, some of that stuff, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
tennis.
yeah. I played a little football in school, and I dabbled in soccer. Played soccer for a few years, and
Oh yeah.
tried out for the basketball team. Did not make it.
Oh,
Even though
me
I was
neither. I
taller than
was bad.
everybody else,
Yeah, yeah. I
I was
sucked at
not more coordinated
basketball.
than anybody else. So,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I played in like middle school, like, and I think it's just because they didn't, need it. They needed somebody to just sit on the bench.
yeah,
Like, that's all I did. I think I might have shot one shot in 2 years, if I'm being honest. Yeah. I mean, I'm just not good at basketball. Just
yeah, yeah,
period.
yeah.
I
Clearly,
just
I'm not
stink.
either. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But we tried, Jack. We
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 tried,
gave it a
man. We tried.
go.
We
Right.
tried.
No, that's awesome, man. Wow, what a great part. I'm up in DFW, so I'm sure you're familiar
Yeah, I
with the
haven't spent a
area
lot
I
of
am in.
time up in that area,
Yeah.
but every time I go, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's Texas, right? It's like it's
it's
all
that.
kind of the same, if I'm being not right. I kind of been all over. It's kind of all the same. Not entirely, but the people are kind of the same sort of you get along with people the same way, I feel like. They might have
Yeah,
different
yeah,
personalities, but that level of just like generosity and curiosity and like just good people. Yeah. I
yeah. I
love
mean,
Texas
there's
so
different
much.
vibes you get from different places. Like Houston. I was born in Houston, and I graduated high school in Houston. But I spent almost all my life in intervening years in Austin and
Yeah,
beyond in Austin.
yeah,
So I know Houston somewhat, and it has more of a free for all attitude. I mean, it's just
sure.
it's kind of a crazy place where you can do anything. Austin is traditionally more kind of a hippie town.
Yeah,
In a funky, hippie, laid back town. Now, maybe not so much. It's changed a lot over the years.
sure.
And the vibe I get from the Dallas area is a little bit more upscale and cosmopolitan. I don't know if that's like, reflective of reality at all.
No, that seems pretty that's kind of it. That's why I always say DFW because I like to bring in Fort Worth to add a little balance because it is like you said, Dallas is very cosmopolitan and I lived downtown Dallas for many years and worked in like, high-end restaurants there. That was kind of wine bars and that kind of thing. It is very much like that. I mean, uptown, right? That's what they call it, right? So like Fort Worth is definitely that's cowboy country, baby. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And I love the balance because I grew up in the suburbs in the middle, so it's kind of like you know what I mean? You got this nice balance there. So, and now DFW, dude, it is just it's massive. Like it's going so far up north, so far down south, and all the way around, right? It's crazy, kind of. I mean, it's insane how big it's getting.
yeah, yeah. I need to spend more time in Dallas. I do,
Yeah.
I do.
I mean, unless you got a reason to go to one of the cities, right? You're just like, why am I going? Why
Hey,
would I go
good
there?
food, man. That's the reason, right?
Well, good call. Barbecue, bro.
Right, barbecue,
So
Mexican
I'm a
food.
I'm an ex-chef. Yeah, yeah, I'm an ex-chef. Of course, Mexican. Honestly, that's what I love about Texas is the food. So you mentioned Houston. Houston to me is one of the most diverse food cities in
They
the
are.
country.
They are. You
Period.
you want
Houston,
barbecue, they've got it. You want Greek food, they've got it. You want Vietnamese food, they've got it. And they've got good examples of everything.
any
Uh,
country, it's there. And same with
you-
Dallas. That's what Dallas is becoming all around. It's whatever you want Korean, you want Vietnamese, you want Cantonese, you want Filipino, you want Thai, you want Indian, you want Pakistani, you want fucking African, you want South African, you want fucking Egyptian, you want Moroccan food. What do you want? Turkey, Lebanese. I'm not gonna just keep going. Spanish, Tex-Mex, barbecue. I mean, it's just so crazy. And then
well,
there's like 10 of them for each one. You're just like, wow, there's this
see,
much
I need
space.
to do that. I need to like do a food tour of like the various nations. Like, I don't know what Egyptian food tastes like. What do they eat in South Africa? I don't know any of that. That'd be kind of fun to find out.
Yeah, man, I'm all about food. I love food. I've lived
When
not
you
all over the world, but
when you were
in
a
different
chef,
places.
what did you chef?
So I chef Spanish food, and I did in Austin. I had a food truck and catering business in Austin, off of South Lamar by Barton Springs, and I also had a location off Rainy Street, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And yeah, did Spanish food for 5 years there in Austin. And before that, I worked in other restaurants, so it wasn't, and I was front of the house, meaning manager, waiter, um, bartender, that sort of thing, wine bar, wine manager, whatever. I did a lot of different stuff there. But yeah, Spanish food, man, because I lived in Spain for a few years.
Oh, cool,
So
cool.
I mixed that with my Mexican heritage and Texas heritage and had this cool fusion thing going, to be honest. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, man.
My stepmother got her degree in Spanish and spent a lot of time in Spain, and she raised me with a love of Spain.
Hell
Uh,
yeah,
yeah.
dude. Vámonos. Órale. Yeah, I love that, man. That's awesome, man. Yeah, Spain's a great country, dude. Well, that's good to hear, man. So what
Well,
do you
should we talk
do?
about UFOs?
I don't know. Maybe not. I get sick and tired of talking about UFOs sometimes, Jack. I'm being honest. I'm sure you do too, man. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Do you ever just like want to take a break, and just like, I don't know, watch a comedy? Do you ever do that? I do that.
Oh
I
yeah, of
just
course,
like,
man. Yeah,
right.
I love comedies. I love science fiction movies and fantasy movies.
Yeah.
And writing. I'm a writer, and
Oh, really?
yeah, I'm a novelist, and
Oh, dude.
I write fantasy and science fiction and horror novels. That's how I've made my living for years. And
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. Holy cow, I love that, man. Oh, wow, that is so cool. So that's the mind working up there. Um, that I see on your videos, dude, because I watch some of your stuff, so I can see the passion coming out, and I get it now. That makes sense, dude. Dude, that's so cool. Wow, I'm jealous. I got to admit, I can't write for shit, so it's mad respect because that is a hard skill.
Well,
Um,
thank you. I'm jealous of you being a chef. I
may not have
can't.
been a good one. I don't
I,
know.
I, I can make toast badly, and
I love that badly. That was
it's
funny. Yeah, I can make toast, and it's not even good toast. I love
not
it.
even good toast. I
Hey,
can pour
toast can be
cereal.
hard sometimes, right? Yeah, I
Yeah,
can pour cereal. Yeah, I
I can pour
got.
cereal sloppily with milk getting everywhere.
Yeah,
Cheerios getting soggy.
that's awesome. So you so you a novelist. You've been writing for forever, right? All these different books. What makes you say, "Hey, I want to start a YouTube channel and start talking about this stuff"? Because I notice you don't just talk about UFOs, which is what I love, Cosmic Road, right? There's more to it. So yeah, what was UFOs even the first thing you started like making videos on?
Yeah, it was. It was like, covering Lou Elizondo and stuff like that, and the
Oh,
nuts and
okay.
bolts stuff, and that's how I got into it was, because I didn't always used to be a UFO guy. I didn't believe in any of
Hmm.
this until
Oh, really?
2017. Yeah, I didn't believe in UFOs. My uncle would go to UFO meetings, and I would kind of, make fun of him. Not too hard, but I would rib him. I would rib him.
Sure, sure.
And
Yeah.
and actually his group specialized in underwater UFOs, which at the
Oh, shit.
time I just thought, oh my God, how eccentric can you get? And now I'm like, oh, underwater UFOs, yeah. I mean, okay,
Now you get it. Now you're
now
like,
I get
this
it.
is where it's at. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Uncle Mike. I am so
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry, Uncle Mike. Every video should be that's how you start every video. Sorry, Uncle Mike. Let's
That's
jump in,
probably
right?
probably what I should do. But I got into it in 2017, and those three videos came out, and I made me wonder, could there actually be some there? And because I don't have a day job and I have an obsessive personality, I was able to devote all my free time, which is a lot, into investigating UFOs. And man, I investigated everything, and then I would come to a rabbit hole like alien abduction. And I'm like, okay, now I've come to the belief that there are things in the sky I don't understand, but alien abductions, come on. But then I would eventually I would circle that rabbit hole for a while, and then I would investigate it, and then I would find some there, and I would do a serious, exhaustive deep dive into it. And I would come to Bigfoot and stuff, and I'm like, oh, come on, not Bigfoot. Bigfoot's not real. And then, damn it, I would do research, and I was like, fuck, Bigfoot may be real. And and
I
then
like how you're mad at yourself for confirming these things. That's so funny. I love that.
yeah. And then I'd come to like Skinwalker Ranch, and like, okay, I've been avoiding this place for a long time. And I come to Skinwalker Ranch, and I had already come across some of the metaphysical stuff, and because that's where some of it goes, or a lot of it goes. And it's a paranormal and skinwalkers and portals, and like, okay, the government investigated ghosts and crap at Skinwalker Ranch. Could any of this be real? Because I was an atheist. I was an atheist all my life, and for those that are pedantic, I mean a materialist. And I did not believe in anything spiritual. And I would
Yeah.
come to this stuff, and I'm like, okay, so could there be ghosts? And so I did a lot of research, and seemed like there's some there, but I wasn't going to believe it until I saw it. So I co-founded a ghost hunting group, and I went out and we did some ghost hunting. And we really lucked out. Like one of our first cases was this hugely haunted house. They were well to do. They had security cameras everywhere. And they were able to get a lot of this stuff on their security cameras. And they have multiple
Shit.
videos of shadow people, on security camera footage, and orbs and stuff. And if you ever come to College Station, I can show you that. I'm not legally allowed to show that to you
Sure,
because
sure.
we wanted permission to share that, and he was a
Yeah.
lawyer, and he said
How long
no.
ago was this?
About 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it was down locally where you lived. That's where it was
It
locally then.
was in Austin where I lived at the time.
Got it.
It was in Steiner Ranch, if you know where that is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and a
Wow.
gated community within Steiner Ranch.
Dude,
And
that's like gold mine, right? Like you setting out to ghost hunt and boom, here we go.
we
Right?
lucked into this. We lucked
Yeah.
into this. This is a fantastic haunted house, and so we did a
Dude,
lot of
so
research.
cool.
We researched that for like 6 months to a year, and then we wanted to share this stuff, and they wouldn't let us. And we just said, okay, farewell. But anyway, so that got me into the spiritual stuff. One of my ghost hunting buddies was a Reiki master, and some of my
Okay.
research into psi phenomenon had kind of led me to thinking maybe there was some there. So I let her do Reiki on me, and then I felt that Reiki energy.
Yeah.
And I was like, crap, this is the force. I'm feeling the chi, the key,
The
that's what it is.
force.
Right?
I love
The
it. Yeah,
force. I'm
that's
feeling
cool.
the force.
Yeah.
I'm a big Star Wars nerd. I'm feeling the force for the first time
Lo-
in my life. Because
Love
I
Star
felt the
Wars.
energy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, this is amazing. So then I started to learn Reiki. And as I opened myself up to all of this stuff, I began to have a lot of experiences. And ultimately I had my own UFO experience. And so yeah, that got me into all the weird woo-woo stuff. And now I love it. I'm a huge woo-woo fan. And I see a lot of crossover with the UFO stuff because that's a lot where the UFO stuff gets pretty trippy.
Sure. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Sure.
and it makes the UFO stuff even more interesting. I mean, it was already interesting enough. We
That's
got
a good point.
aliens. We got aliens.
Yeah.
Uh, but anyways, how did you get into all this?
Hey, well, I mean, I want to hear, I want to hear this UFO story first, man. That sounds exciting because I've never
Yeah.
had one.
Okay.
What
Yeah. Sure.
happened?
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
I don't want to hog the stage,
No,
but
dude, are you kidding me? I'm hanging on every word here, Jack.
all right. Okay. So, all right. So the UFO story, pretty trippy. All right. So along this journey that I was on, and this woo-woo journey and Reiki and spirituality and having these experiences, because I had some cool stuff. I had some cool stuff that happened for me, and I don't take any credit for it. It's not like I like some Zen master that had these cool experiences.
Sure. Yeah,
These were
yeah.
like, I think I have some spirit guides that are working with me, and they help me out, and they've gifted me some cool stuff. And a
Okay.
few years ago, I would have laughed at the talk of spirit guides. I just, spirit guides, come on, pull the other
Come
weight.
on.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the only way I can explain my experiences because I didn't earn most of these. I mean, I opened myself up
Hmm.
to it, and that's about all I can say about my own, role in it. But yeah, so along this journey, I discovered ayahuasca. I don't know if you've ever been able to participate or have any desire. Do you know what ayahuasca is?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm half Mexican. Yeah, for sure. Definitely know what ayahuasca is. I've never tried it myself, um, but I definitely know about it, heard about it. See, know people have done it. Of course, yes, I know all about
Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, yeah. So I discovered the ayahuasca. I'd done some research. It sounded interesting, and I had been really wanting an out of body experience. So I can't.
it.
I
Love that.
really.
That's
Now I've
interesting.
had one, but it wasn't because of Aya. But I just really wanted an out of body experience. I wanted to
Because you
go and
just heard other stories, or what made you want one of those? That's interesting. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say that.
yeah, no, I want to go to other dimensions and party with the beings and other planes of existence and
Fair. I mean,
fly through the rings of Saturn, some fifth dimensional Saturn. Yeah,
yeah,
totally, man.
fair
Totally,
enough.
I would
Fair
love
enough.
that.
Yeah.
But it hadn't happened for me. I haven't flown through the rings of Saturn yet, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Okay, but yeah, so ayahuasca, I've been hearing about it, and I had the opportunity to go to a retreat here in Texas and from a real shaman from the Amazon, from Peru, from a lineage of shamans. His father is a shaman. All his brothers are shamans. Ayahuasqueros, and that's what they do. And so he comes up here a couple times every year to do these retreats. So I got the chance to go to one, and I went to the first retreat, and it I had suffered a physical condition having to do with my intestines, and it was a birth defect, and this cured me. I received a healing from ayahuasca. Yeah, kind of a big deal, really life changing for me. And I received a lot of insights because don't go into it expecting anything like miraculous like that. Ayahuasca allows you to go to deep places within yourself and work on things you didn't even know you needed to work on. And so it's just a really great tool and a great connection I think to the beyond. And it kind of puts you on the crossroads, and whatever happens, but it gets you there, and which it may be harder to get under normal circumstances unless you're really good at meditating and stuff, which I'm not. And yeah. So anyway, so I went to more of these ayahuasca things. I've been to 10 ayahuasca ceremonies so far. And during the second retreat that I went to, okay, remember, I was an atheist, but I'm doing all this because my research had led me to near-death experiences. When I was doing ghost hunting and I was seeing evidence of spirituality, at first I assumed it was like alien technology, like other dimensional technology or something like that. I was like,
Yeah.
there can't be actual ghosts because we don't have souls. This is stupid. But maybe some echoes of alien technology. Okay, sure. But as I was experiencing this stuff, I was like, this doesn't feel like alien technology. This feels like spiritual stuff. So I went to
Yeah.
Google and I just typed in, "Do we have souls?" I wasn't expecting anything. Come on,
I
Google,
love
hit me with your best shot. Do we have
it.
souls? Come
Yeah.
on,
Google will
come
know.
Google will
Yeah.
know. And so what popped up for me was near death experiences. And, I don't know if you've ever researched that at all, but so I started studying that and I searched. It's been scientifically studied for like 50 or 60 years, ever since people have been able to reliably resuscitate people from heart attacks. You can die, go to the other side, and be brought back reliable.
Sure.
And there's various points of corroboration that these are real out of body experiences. People able to, see things that they couldn't have seen otherwise, sometimes knowing things in advance that are going to happen that beings have told them. Anyway, so at first I studied the scientific evidence, then I studied the experiencer accounts, and it went on and on. And so I really got into the near death experiences and trying to understand the dimensions and whatever. And people would meet Jesus in these other accounts, and I had not been religious at all, or a believer in anything.
Yeah.
And even like non-Christians would meet Jesus, and I'm like, well, okay, that's interesting. Could there actually be a Jesus? But I didn't. So I wanted to investigate that, but I didn't want to read the Bible. That's just the dogma. I didn't have any faith in that. So I found the two Dolores Cannon books. This all ties into the UFO and
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm getting
I'm
there. I'm
in.
getting there.
I'm in, baby. Don't
Okay,
worry
okay,
about
okay.
me. I'm in.
So yeah, so I found these two Dolores Cannon books on Jesus where people are hypnotically regressed to remember past lives where they have met Jesus. Because Dolores Cannon hypnotically regressed, thousands of people. She's, for alien abductions and for, afterlife stuff as well. And every now and then she would come across somebody that met Jesus. And the author of the first book, if you want to call him that, the guy whose point of view it's from, is one of Jesus's teachers in the Torah. He was in Essene, one of the guys that wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls, and the whole Essene culture was really fascinating. And anyway, so it goes on, and there's really, really, really compelling information in those books. And I was like, and it was a really trippy version of Jesus. It was tied in with Atlantis and UFOs and reincarnation and magical abilities that anybody can learn. And it was this cool vision of Jesus. So in my second ayahuasca retreat on the third night, I'm meditating with these ideas in my head, and I have this powerful resonance with Jesus, who in those books he's not the savior. It's not exactly the Christian definition of Jesus, but he's still very much Jesus doing miracles and but he's the great teacher. He's here to show us what we can all do and whatever. He's not necessarily the savior, but he's Jesus. So so I'm thinking of him as my elder brother. That's how I'm thinking of him in this ayahuasca journey that I'm on, and I'm having this powerful resonance. I mean, I feel like he's there. It was so wild. I felt like he was just going to come out and wave at me, and I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Hi, but he didn't show up, and so yeah, right, right. Come on, that would have been cool. No, but
Yeah.
I said, okay, if this is real and I'm not just tripping my balls off, because I'm totally tripping my balls off, give me a sign. Give me a sign. And a month later, as I'm driving down the road, a UFO makes the shape of a cross in the sky. It was probably my second UFO sighting, but it was the first one that I think I was meant to see. And it was a object that came into my field of view. It's in the sky. It comes into being. It goes like that. It vanishes. A few seconds later, it comes into being again, going that way. Goes like that. Vanishes, making a perfect Christian cross. I go
Wow.
home. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's obviously not a meteor or
Yeah,
anything. So, yeah.
sure.
So I go home and I go into the backyard and I'm like, did I just see that? Give me a sign if I just saw that. And a single point of light goes like that in the sky and goes like that, bigger than a star, smaller than the moon. So I'm like,
Wow.
hang on, did I just see that? Give me a
Yeah.
corroboration that I just saw that. I
You're
was getting
you're there for
greedy.
like 100 years. Just okay, but now corroborate that. Okay, what
Right.
about this? Yeah, like every sign. That's
Right.
hilarious.
Yeah. I
I
was getting
love
greedy at that point, and they said, screw you,
it.
Jack. I'm not giving you Jack. So, but I'd
That's
already
funny.
received the corroboration of the corroboration, right? So I don't know what that means, Patrick. I wish I knew what it all meant. But
Sure,
it feels like whatever beings have been working with me and helping me were telling me that that was a legit connection I was making to Jesus. Which
sure,
sounds so crazy to me. I mean, a lifetime of atheism, poo-pooing all the Christian stuff. And I still don't consider myself a Christian in like a dogmatic sense of the word, but I think there was a being named Jesus and he was teaching people stuff. I think there was also a Buddha and other teachers. And he was one of those, maybe ascended masters, is one term I've heard, that
yeah,
these paragons of humanity that could had reached a certain point and in their evolution of their spirit and can teach people how to do stuff. And anyway, so I would love to know what it all meant. I keep on hoping Jesus will come down and we can have some wine together. uh you know and he
you're
can
like,
give
I'll
me
bring the water.
right. I'll bring the water, right,
He's
right.
like, I'll bring the powers. Let's do this. Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Anyways, that's what I call
Wow.
my Jesus ayahuasca UFO story, but I wasn't on
Oh,
ayahuasca when I saw the UFO.
yeah, yeah, but I see why you connect it all, and I mean that's an epic tale. To be honest with you, have you just is that something you maybe would want to turn into a story that you would write
I would
out?
never want to fictionalize it. I could write, an autobiography, like
Yeah, or something
detailing
like
some of
that,
my
or
experiences, but
yeah,
I don't, my experiences are small fry compared to people like Chris Bledsoe and stuff like that.
sure.
I don't
Well,
want to oversell my experiences, but it's to me personally, it's been pretty cool.
I mean, I think that sounds, amazing. I don't know if putting experiences on a hierarchy is a good idea anyway.
I know, but like when you're face to
You
face
know?
with a cosmic being like, Chris Bledsoe or somebody, I
Yeah.
definitely tend to think that maybe, a higher level kind of thing there.
Nah. No, not to me. I mean, if they're showing you stuff and helping, you said you have guides, or I've never really heard that before, but I guess I kind of get the idea, somewhat behind that. Yeah.
I know that
I
you're
mean,
probably more of a skeptic to all of that stuff, and I don't. Are
I
you an
mean,
atheist?
I
Are you?
I don't know.
What's your temperature on all that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I grew up Catholic because of my mom, but not because of me, right? We just go to mass, whatever. But we did just the yearly stuff. I mean, we were Catholic if in public, never behind the scenes. And that was 18. I did convert to baptism. That was really my own decision. I became a Baptist and I got baptized. I became a Sunday school teacher, kind of. That's why we go to College Station a lot. There was a lot of playing guitar for college and singing, worship, praise songs. I did that for like 3 years. And then I left the church and became atheist, actually. And then I became what I would describe as um, you know, kind of, I don't know, anti-theist, even a little bit different. So like, even if there was a God, screw you. It was like it didn't matter if he existed or not. The concept, I was not, I followed Hitchens a lot. That was really, influential to me. Dawkins at the time, sort of the four horsemen that used to exist, Sam Harris, that whole crowd. Um, and then I really kind of recently, over the last few years, kind of let that go even because I interviewed this atheist named Aaron Raw. He's pretty big in the atheist community, kind of with Matt Dillahunty, who's fellow Texan. Um, and I was just like, I just don't like the idea of going against something I don't even believe it. Like, because they were, people wanted me to interview more atheists, talk about it. I just thought, what is there to talk about? I don't care if people believe it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, if you believe what you want, I'm believing what I want. I don't want to sit here and bash what you believe. Like, that didn't seem a road I wanted to go down. You know what I mean? I'm just open-minded, man. I'm very open-minded to everything. I always stick to the fundamental answer at the end of the day that we just don't know everything, right? There's so much unknown. So therefore, to close your mind off to almost anything is kind of pointless, But I ask a lot of questions only because I care, right? Like, I'm a chef, man. So, like, an ex-chef. So, like, I worked in that field for a long time. So when you really love something, you scrutinize it the most. You really dig in the most. Like, I got to make sure this dish is the best. Am I sourcing the best ingredients for this dish? And there's no bullshit. I come from that cutthroat. Let's make this the best, the highest quality it can be. And therefore you're going to be the most critical of it. That's how it works. Term in the kitchen we use a lot is cut the fat. So I take that approach with even this topic. I just want to cut the fat of a lot of this and get to it. But at the end of the day, I'm still open to everything because, again, we just don't know everything. So my personal favorite thing to do is hear stories like yours. I love to hear personal stories from people who are like, I experienced this. Not, I heard from this guy who heard from this guy. Those don't really interest me. But someone telling their own personal experience is something I can relate to. I've had my own experiences in life. Nothing spiritual or what I would deem out of this world or anything like that. But there's definitely been some weird shit happen. I mean, I'm in my 40s. Like, there's been some shit happen. I'm not crazy.
Well, tell me about it. What would happen?
Well, I mean, nothing. Again, just kind of you hear something, or I don't know. Really just like hearing other people's story, and you're just like, God, there's just a lot of stuff out there, that maybe a deja vu experience or something, right? And you kind of just like, God, I am 1,000% certain I've been in this situation before. I dreamt about this like months ago, and here I am in this moment. Like, but I can't confirm it. Does it make sense? I can't literally confirm, but it's something in my brain is telling me this is so familiar, and not just like a familiar smell, but like this whole thing is familiar. The angle, the lighting, the day, what I'm wearing, something set off a memory. But how can it be a memory if I've never been here before? So maybe it's something connected. I don't know. That's why I just love hearing people's stories, you know, taking it all in. And at the end of the day, I am definitely open to everything. I want to believe a lot of stuff. Man, remember Alien Nation? Remember that show back in the
Yeah.
day, Alien Nation? I always loved that show, dude. And I always thought that's the kind of world I want to live in, dude. We live with aliens, we get along, there's a lot. I love that because I love cultures. I've lived in different places. I love new cultures and taking in new things, and extraterrestrial or interdimensional or whatever we want to, or both or all, those are new cultures to me, right? Like, so that's exciting. Like, I would love to learn about it. You're a little more brave than me for wanting to make contact and wanting to, involve yourself more than I would, just because I don't know what the ramifications were. It could be, I guess. If I was younger, I would be much different mindset, but maybe just as I've got older, I've gotten a little more weaker about it. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like taking less risk in that sort of sense, mentally or spiritually, because I don't understand it all. So what if I'm playing with something I just don't understand? And that scares me. If I'm being honest, that idea scares me. But I've taken lots of drugs, long time, my 20s, I experimented a lot being in a band and trying different stuff. And I took Salvia one time, right? One time, because
Yeah,
that's the only time
I
I
had a
wanted to
friend
do
that
it.
took it one time.
Bro, that's all you'll want to do it is one
Yeah,
time, because that's
yeah.
the craziest, and it's legal at the time. in Texas when I did it, it was legal. My friends brought it over. We used to smoke pot a lot together, but they didn't tell me what it was. So they brought it over. They put a little pipe. I thought it was pot. And I remember them setting up a camera right in front of me. I was like, what's going on here? And they were like, nothing, just hit it. And I was like, okay. So I hit the bro. I
That's not
fucking
right.
bro, it's not right. That's what I said. That's fucked up, bro. I was so mad afterwards. Like, guys, not only did you fuck me, but you filmed it. Now, granted, when I watched it back, I laughed. Okay. It was funny. But, you know, whatever. This is before the internet and YouTube and stuff. So it wasn't going to go online. Yeah. Not before the internet, but definitely before like putting videos online. You know, it wasn't like that. So anyway, I remember that's the trippiest experience because I remember blowing out the smoke and I was gone, transported, instant, like an instantaneous that I cannot explain. It's because when you smoke or you drink or you do something, it's a right. You just start to gradually feel this thing, but this was like instant gone. And but what was weird about it, man, is like you smoke pot, maybe you try some you know what is it the dancing one.
Psilocybin,
No, no, yeah, mushrooms or something like that. You can kind of like
the dancing one,
um
K,
no MS what can I think of it? I don't know. We're
MS.
uh MS something, MSM. I don't know, dude. Oh my God. I can't remember. Um I don't know. Anyway, ecstasy.
Actually, I've never done that.
Ecstasy. Um Great. Anyway, it changes your yes. I mean, this was a long time ago. I would assume it's still great. But that, shrooms, you kind of like maybe colors or sounds can kind of change, I don't know, you just know you're on, right? This was like my whole like everything looked real as hell. Like everything just looked normal, but shit was just off. Like I remember my hand stuck in the floor, but all I could see was like this part, like my whole hand was gone, but it was in the ground, but it looked real. There was no weirdness about it or gooiness or, you know what I'm saying? Like some sort of, oh, dude, I'm tripping balls. It was like, I panicked. I was like, holy shit, my arm's gone. Like, I was like, it's in the ground. Like, this is impossible. I
That's
remember
not where it's
looking up.
supposed to be.
Yeah, that's not, I mean, where did it go? And I remember looking over and to my right, and I see a friend I hadn't seen in 10 years run by and run into the wall and gone. Just like he ran through. And I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like I was just having the weirdest trip, and it lasted like 15 minutes, and I hated it. I mean, I hated it. It scared the shit out of me, and that has always stuck with me because I remember it making me think, wow, your brain is very powerful and it can change your reality instant. Like, because again, it felt real. It didn't feel trippy. It just felt real. And that was what was so scary about it. But it made me think, damn, there's just this shit going off in our brains that creates this image, that blah, 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 right? That changed me because that made me think we don't know everything. We don't know what's creating this image. Is there a power behind? Is it me? What is my consciousness, right? Is it a pebble in there we could pull out, then my consciousness is gone? Is it a mix of things? What is it? Where does it come from? Why do we have it? Why is it here? Is it necessary? Are we the only ones with it? Does it give us these special connections to these other realms you're talking about, or beings, or whatever it could be, right? Nature. I don't know. But I'm so open to it, dude, for sure. I'm skeptical in the sense that I don't know. I don't like labels. So I don't really like call myself a believer, a skeptic, or nothing. I'm Patrick, man. I'm here. I'm open-minded. Let's talk about it. Am I going to have questions? Well, you goddamn right. Like I'd be crazy. I'm just a curious person. I probably I know I annoyed the hell out of my parents growing up. I asked questions about everything to everybody. Same in school. I can't help myself, man. That's the way my brain works. My brain starts wanting to fill it in, right? My brain starts wanting details to, you're a writer, right? You're trying to build the story out. So I'm constantly building stories out in my head. Well, I need details. I need to know So that's really all those questions are that I ask, or if, when I'm curious about something, is that trying to fill that story or that image in my mind out so that I'm at ease, so I'm not anxious or nervous about it, because I'm so curious. So I don't know.
Well,
That was a long answer.
no, no, great answer. Yeah, and I think you're onto something. The way I see psychedelics, now that I kind of understand spirituality a little bit, or at least I've done a lot of research and had some experiences, I do believe that we come into this reality from outside, and that there's more of us, or higher self, whatever you want to call it, on the other side. And that when we come into this reality, we have a lot of our awareness of what we knew before stripped away, and that our brain acts as a filter, in part. I mean, it's more complicated than that, but in part it seems to act as a filter on our consciousness, filtering out some of this stuff that maybe we're not supposed to know in this life for some reason. But at the same time, we do seem to be able to access a lot of this stuff. In Reiki, I've learned you can heal with your hands, and there's all sorts of other stuff. There's remote viewing. There's all sorts of cool stuff, and some of it I've experienced myself. And I think that we do have access to our greater self, at least to a certain extent, and that psychedelics allow you to maybe alter the filter a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it, is you're altering the filter. Now, don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. Okay. Okay. But
Yeah,
yeah, for
for
YouTube.
sure.
Okay. Okay. But yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
I believe that still, to be honest with you, to be safe. I mean, be an adult, right?
yeah.
Essentially. Yeah,
Sure,
for
sure,
sure.
sure. But yeah, I do think that psychedelics allow you to alter that filter, and maybe get in touch with stuff easier than you could otherwise. Again, unless you're like a great, Zen master meditation guy,
Yeah,
which some people are.
sure.
Some people can meditate for 3 or 5 hours a day, and they have, cool abilities and connections. I do think that's a thing. But a shortcut for those of us who aren't there, and again, don't do drugs, but if you wanted to experiment with consciousness, and maybe connections, theoretically, that would be one way to do it. But again, be very safe. Do it with good people. If you're going to a ceremony, like with ayahuasca, do research on that ceremony, and with the practitioners of that,
Oh, for sure.
because there are bad shamans, and
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
just like and it's so sad that people with those abilities could misuse them. But that's
sure.
unfortunately, they're human like everybody else. Well, not everybody else, but most of us watching this show. And so yeah, they can misuse them just like anybody else. But yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
my take on psychedelics, and how they kind of can enable stuff that would be more difficult otherwise. Although I would love to get to a point where I was like meditating every day and I was really good at this stuff, and that's kind of one of my goals for this year. So hopefully that'll happen.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely, man. No, that's I mean, it's everybody's journey to take. That's how I look at it, right? Everybody's journey to take. I don't like to try to influence people on the journey they should take in life, and what they should do. I just say, this is me, and you do you. I'm very Texan that way. I'm sure you are too, right? Just live your life. I live my life. Let's
That's
do
right.
this, right? And yeah, that's what makes humanity so fascinating. Is that that uniqueness? The more hive mind we become, the less interesting to me humanity is. So I
Yeah,
like the idea of everyone going on their own journey and being unique and going for what they want, or want this connection spiritually, or don't want it, scared of it, want something else, want this, want that. I'm all for it, man. To
well,
be
I'm
honest, I
seeking
really
out
am.
those experiences, man. I
Yeah, I get
really,
it. I
my,
get
my
it.
experiences have actually decreased lately, and I'm trying to get it back. I think I need to meditate more. And but I used to be having them like at a fairly regular clip, and now I'm not. Now I'm not. And so I want to get back to that spiritual mindset, or whatever it was that was allowing that. So
So you got like a group of people you regularly meet with and sort of discuss this stuff and, I don't know, experience it together.
Not so much together. Although sometimes,
Yeah.
like for CE5, and we've had some cool stuff with CE5.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, yeah, most of my experiences have been alone. And but that's great. That's what I'm looking for, is a personal, connection to the beyond.
Sure.
And but it has slowed down anyway. But yeah, where I was going with that, where was I going, Patrick? I was going somewhere,
I don't know.
consciousness,
Somewhere down the
interactions.
cosmic road. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
But everybody's on their own journey, and it is, your life takes you wherever you wanted to go. Mine definitely took a couple of twists that I wasn't expecting,
I
and
mean, that's
it
life, right? For
just
sure.
just life.
Trust me, I never thought I'd be running a UFO aliens channel on YouTube. I'm not
Well,
gonna lie. This is not where I picture myself. But I love every second of it, if I'm being honest.
oh, when did you get into UFOs?
I mean, I've kind of always been into them in some sense of just like that's interesting, right? Because I'm like you, I love like not fantasy so much, but I love sci-fi and futuristic stories and movies and shit. I'm all into that stuff. Um, time travel and yeah, I'm all about it, man. Alien stuff. I mean, always about it. Again, different cultures. I always love that. But I was kind of, 2017, the New York Times article comes out. I'm, oh shit, what is this about? Right. And I'm just kind of interested on the periphery, right? Just kind of every once in a while check something out. And I remember I saw some stuff like on the Basement Office that came out on the, New York Post, that stuff on YouTube. And I have another podcast I've been running for the last, 5 years. Oh, there's my damn thumbs up that keeps coming up on this damn thing. Um, and I said, man, I want to do something like a video about UFOs. I don't know. So I did. And I normally I'd done interviews. So this was like, oh, let me just make a video. And I went to Area 51,
What?
visited.
What?
Yeah, I went and visited and I was like, "Oh, this will be cool. Let me go see what this is about." And the video I made is very like, you know, I wouldn't make the same video now. Let's just put it that way. It's still fun, entertaining. I was all interested, asking questions, got chased off at the gate, honked the horn at me and this loud horrible horn and I made it very dramatic, let's just put it that way in editing. But then I interviewed James Fox for he was doing promotion for Moment of Contact. So he came on our show. And after I saw that documentary and interviewed him, I was fucking all in, bro. I was like, this is crazy. Dude, I love James Fox's films. Just the way they're made, like they're just so fascinating and interesting, and the presentation is just so good. So, yeah, kind of talked to who I worked with to produce my podcast and was like, I want to do UFO podcast. And they were like, let's do it. So I went all in and I just, it took me a minute to kind of find my footing because I kind of took the same approach from my other podcast, which was I'm going to do interviews, right? I'm going to get interviews and stuff. And so I interviewed Nick Pope, um, who else did I interview? Avi Loeb, this woman from MUFON, like I don't remember her, Jessica something. Anyway, Mick West, interviewed Mick West, and we threw out a few other invitations, but didn't get any, response at that time, and we hadn't even launched yet. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, I'll take these interviews and let's get the channel going. But then I quickly realized, oh, this isn't working. I need to do something else. So I switched to daily videos like on Labor Day. And I just started grinding out these daily videos, dude. This past Labor Day, I mean, that's it. And that really got me into the topic a lot more, and I was able to learn a lot more, and you know what I mean, kind of really dive into stories and figure out how to do this, dude. And just really new to it all, taking in a lot of information I never heard before, right? So just a lot going on. I mean, I happened to launch Vetted the same summer David Grush comes out, right? That like
Good timing.
yeah, it just threw everything like because I remember I had all this stuff edited, dude, to launch. I'm not joking. I had spent 2 months editing my pilot episode for Vetted, and I'm not joking. I'm literally getting ready to post this thing, and the debrief article comes out about David Grush and then the News Nation thing. And I was like, well, what the fuck, man? God damn it. All this work. And I remember just thinking, well, fuck it. Just let's go with it. And then he testified, I was just like, this is exciting. This is like that testimony in July really, really
Gangbusters.
impressed me. Yeah, I was gang, but I really just like, okay, this is who I'm behind. There's a lot of crazy stuff out here. There's a lot of whatever story, I don't know what's going on, but I can follow this and these guys and David Grush especially. He's laying out a game plan. I got X people on the record. I got locations. I got this. I got that. And he's saying, I'll give it to you. And the pushback he got from that, I just thought, bro, what, why? If he's full of shit, why are you pushing back on this guy so much, right? And then you add in Commander David Fravor with his credentials. You throw in Ryan Graves, right, with his credentials, and not just their credentials, but their integrity. Because my father was in the Air Force. My grandfather served in World War II. I got cousins in the military now. I got cousins who are police, firefighters. I'm all about it. But I also know there's good people and bad people in every industry. And there are military people that aren't so whatever. And you know what I mean? So it doesn't just necessarily mean because you're in the military. Okay, now I believe. Now, what it will do for me is I'm going to sit down and hear your story probably before someone else's, right? Because there is a sort of initial level of credibility. You can, all right, I'll hear you out for sure. You've served our country. You've whatever, right? You put in the time. That's definitely deserved. But their integrity, their credentials, the way they told their story, they were just all three of them up there was just like, dude, I'm in. And so, and I'm still that way. I still really follow their stories and what they're trying to do. And David Grush is like the guy for me. Like, I really want to see where his investigation ends up because they keep pushing back on him so much. They won't, I just don't, it just, the fact that they won't just, say his investigation is bullshit. All of his shit is bullshit. They won't. And they come out of a meeting going, some of his shit's pretty credible. And you're like, told you so, told you. It's all the other outlying stories, dude, that really kind of, I don't know, kind of feed some of the nonsense for me. And I just want to get to, dude, let's get behind Grush. What's he doing? Now, granted, I got a channel trying to make content. You gotta fill out some stuff, you there's no doubt about that. But at the end of the day, I just, the reason, the pushback against Grush is such a huge red flag to me. Yeah. That is just right. That to me is just such a huge red flag. And I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think we're ever going to know everything. And that's just kind of how life is. Because even if they told us a truth about X, what about your experience? What about this guy's experience? What about so-and-so and so, the millions of people? And so it doesn't to me, it doesn't even matter what the government says about it. I don't even,
No. Okay. I gotta push back on that because we do need official U.S. government disclosure because what I call the control group, the people managing the UFO issue, all these years, they've been doing some shady stuff. And they've taken people out.
Fair.
They've seems to have assisted in alien abductions. According to the Michael Herrera information, they're abducting psionics, psychically gifted people to interact with this technology and more, shoot down these objects. Now, they're doing a lot of abusive things that probably should not be going on. And so we need official
You want to keep them accountable.
Well, we need oversight.
I agree.
We obviously need a body devoted to the UFO issue.
100%.
But not like they are. They are doing abusive stuff that clearly
I just meant
oversight.
disclosure. I just meant them admitting on paper, yeah, aliens are real.
Yeah,
I don't need that.
We don't even need the government for that. We can all go out and sing Kumbaya and do C5 and we can have our own interactions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, absolutely. I,
The
I
accountability?
the accountability,
Absolutely,
yeah.
bro. Yeah, of course. I'm 100%, man. Without question. That to me goes without, like, of course, right? That's like, that goes without saying, in my opinion, for sure. On every, right, on every part of the government, like, I mean, we're so bad about that here. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you there. Now, some of these stories, honestly, at the end of the day, I do believe in that overall accountability, but some of the stories that do come out about it, I can't base my reasons for that accountability on some of these stories that I can't, I'm not 100% certain they happen. But in a way, it's kind of like, I don't think it matters. We need that accountability regardless, you know.
Yeah, no, we do. And it's hard to like base any overview on like one individual account. But when
Yeah.
you get a whole bunch of individuals that don't know each other, that are all having similar accounts, seeing the beings that are abducting them, working with government and military types, you see enough of these, you kind of get the idea that, yeah, it seems like based on, the best information that we have from these witnesses. And
Yeah.
again, obviously I would love even more corroboration on that. But from the
Sure.
best available evidence, it seems like the control group is assisting at some level. Because I think there's many layers to the control group, like an onion. But at some level, they seem to be working with beings and assisting in abductions. And even
When
at
you
a
say
main
control group, what you mean, our government? Like, our
No,
parts of our
no. I
government,
mean,
or
the
what do you mean?
control group is both within and without the government. Uh, you know, um, the control group is whoever has been managing covertly the UFO issue on behest of the government, but not just the U.S. government, because there seems to be a multinational organization. We found
Okay.
that out through like the testimony of Lance Corporal Wygant. Who was seeing China as part of the control group, or at least that part of it,
Sure.
back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I find him very credible. And but yeah, so I think the different nations have their own thing, and then there's also a multinational effort. And I think there's all sorts of splinter groups, and whoever's peeling faces in Peru. I don't think that's probably part of your mainstream control group, but I do think that's
Sure.
probably humans doing that with alien tech, because they've got UFOs, they've got all sorts of fancy alien tech that they have been using. But we don't know, other than abductions, we don't know what they're using this technology for.
Yeah.
They are going off world, seemingly, according to, like Michael Herrera and other, what I consider credible information. They've
You
got,
you interviewed him, right, on your
yeah,
show.
yeah.
As far as I know. Did you do, I don't know why. Tell me if I'm wrong. You Was it one, did you do two interviews, or one interview you just split in two?
Oh, one interview I split into.
Got it. Good idea, by the way. Yeah. Hey, look, people watching, listening, Jack's got a YouTube channel to run, okay? People. At the end of the day, that's also part of it. So I think that was, I mean, just personally, from YouTuber to YouTuber, I thought that was pretty smart. Because that's what I thought. Yeah.
Well, it's
I'm
more
I'm
clicks, but it's
thinking,
also more visibility. So,
yeah, more visibility, whatever reason
yeah,
you chose,
yeah.
right? You did something. I always respect other creators and what they do. Like, I don't care. It's their channel. It's their stuff. Like, go for it. Like, whatever
Well,
they decide.
I've been
They
trying
know
to
all the behind the
experiment. Like
scenes.
I just did an interview with Steve Bassett, and
Yeah.
I didn't split it up. It was a 2 hour plus interview, or
Put it,
I think it
I
was
mean,
like
those work
exactly two
too.
hours. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
100%.
yeah, but
Yeah.
uh, but yeah.
So,
So I mean,
so
but the control group is up to some funky stuff,
yeah.
and I would love to know what all they're doing. But like even at a mainstream disclosure level, we have people like Tim Gallaudet, if I'm saying his name right.
Yeah.
Uh,
You actually got it right.
yeah, I
As
got it
far as
right. I
I've
got it right.
heard, it says, as far as I've heard, that's it.
Nice, nice. But he says we are in contact with ET. He didn't,
Oh, he
yeah,
said that?
he said that.
Oh,
Yeah, he didn't explain
I,
what he meant by that.
oh shit. I haven't even heard him say, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. He
Yeah,
says we are in contact with the ET, but you're wondering
I think
what
he probably
ET,
said
or what do you
NHI, but
mean, or
yeah, yeah, yeah,
NHI. Okay.
yeah.
So, but you're wondering what, or who, or how. Yeah. Okay. I mean,
What
of
does that
course.
mean? What does
Yeah.
that?
What does that mean? I agree. Yeah, I agree. Oh, I didn't know he said
I
that.
can wave at the sky and say I'm in contact,
He's a very
but I don't
credible
think that's what
person,
he
right?
meant.
He's chief meteorologist for the Navy, chief oceanographer. The guy knows his stuff. He's got impeccable credentials, well respected. I mean, if he's speaking about something concerning the oceans, I'd say he's worth listening to.
Yeah. Yeah. He just came out with a great new paper. Have you had time to dive into that? To
I
use an
haven't,
aquatic fund?
but I know it's on the Soul website or something,
Yeah, I
right?
think it's called one of the Soul White Papers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. No, I haven't got into it yet. You know how it is. There's so much
There's so much. There's so many,
to
and that's a
watch
long article. And then the
yeah,
new article on the Soul White Paper is really long too. It's hard to get in, and I consider most of that very surface level. But it's not the deep stuff like I want to know.
sure.
But
At
it's
least something to pique somebody's interest and
yeah,
get
yeah,
them. Yeah.
exactly. It keeps the
Yeah. Yeah.
conversation going and it gets the
Sure.
mainstream engaged with this. And that's what we need. We need to galvanize the public and put as much pressure as we can on Congress so they can, get some answers. And we might actually happen. The Danny Sheehan says we're going to get some of those David Grush's witnesses to come forward this year, and others have said that too. Um, I'll believe it when I see it. But I think we are going to get some. I think we're going
Yeah.
to, whether it's field hearings or apparently there's very likely going to be more hearings in Congress. But if not, we're going to have field hearings and we're going to get some of these guys that have been involved in actual UFO crash retrievals and reverse engineering to testify, which would be amazing. Now, will they be allowed to show any evidence? Because that's what the debunkers are going to say. It's just more people talking. So, even if they're direct participants, even if a guy has been reverse engineering a UFO, this is my pantomime of a guy reverse engineering a UFO and screwing in the thing and then
Yeah.
connecting the hub there. You got to put the anti-gravity ball there, go. But yeah, I mean, so are they going to be able to show anything? I mean, it'd be so cool if they did. Probably not. Probably we'll just get more testimony, but at least it'll be testimony of firsthand, participants of these programs, and
Yeah.
that's
No, I
huge.
mean, you're not
It's
wrong. That
huge.
is huge. That's what I'm waiting for. Hang on, man. My dogs are. Roque, tranquilo, ya, por fin. He's from Spain. I talked to him in Spanish only. Um, Let me ask you about Michael Herrera real quick, just because I'm gonna do a video on the whole thing. I'm sure I'll probably use a clip or clips from your interview. And I'm
Go for it.
talking to this guy. Oh man, Joey is not his name on Twitter. I think you
I've
responded to a
spoken with
tweet
him
and
privately.
yeah, and you said yeah, exactly. And he gave me answers in DMs that clearly said at the beginning, "Hey, I'm using this all for my video, so it's not off the record, just so you know." And he's very cool, very nice, very hospitable. And I did ask this guy who's done a lot of research on Michael Herrera, "Hey, man, I mean, are you Michael Herrera?" Because he's anonymous, and I knew that already. And he said he never said no to me till in the DM, and then he said no to me. Um, but you have spoken to that guy. He's not Michael Herrera because you've also spoken to Michael Herrera. I trust that you would know these are two different people.
Yeah,
But I'm
I
curious.
know.
I don't know much of his story. Like I haven't seen your interviews with him. I remember him being on Sean Ryan's show and hearing part of that. I didn't see the whole thing. It was fascinating because he's a firsthand experiencer, meaning I was there. Not I know a guy who told me a thing, who sent me an email, that's why Michael Herrera's story is fascinating to me because he's like, no, no, no. I was there. This is what happened to me. And those are the stories I find most fascinating. So yeah, I'm just curious, what are your overall thoughts on them? Like as I make this video, what do you think I should keep in mind? Those sort of
Yeah,
things.
yeah, sure. Well, just about Joey is not my name. I just speak to him privately, and I've seen his face. I know his real name. He's definitely not Mike Herrera. He's a good guy, a really
Yeah.
good researcher. When I was speaking to Mike privately, he was able to confirm to me and prove to me that he had actually been to one of these black sites. And but then, that's coming from Mike. But Joey, or not Joey, was able to independently confirm that Mike went to one of these black sites. As a huge piece of Mike's story corroborated. And some really
Yeah.
interesting stuff happened at that black site. So Mike in Indonesia, he sees this man-made UFO, man operated, and they're loading weapons, I guess, and what seems to be living humans. That later information, he found out they were psionics, psychically gifted people that were being, abducted by the control group or ushered into this program. And
It was humans trafficking other humans, but using a UFO reverse engineered from alien tech.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Got it.
And they were using them to interact with alien technology and also to lure in to form psychic connections to beings so that they could be lured in and then shot down so the control group could harvest that technology.
Oh
Yeah.
shit. Dude,
Yeah.
this is a movie in Hollywood waiting to be written. Although it's disturbing human trafficking, so I'm not you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
not
No, no,
making
no.
light of that. I
Yeah,
hope
no,
nobody
sure,
thinks that.
absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, so so Mike had this experience in Indonesia, and he saw some stuff, and he went and he talked about it, and then people from that black site, from the control group itself, invited him to go to that site and see some stuff and get some more information, and then encouraged him to get this information out to people. So it seems like there are pro-disclosure elements within the control group that recognize they need oversight, and they want to get this information out. They're tired of the secrecy, the truth embargo, as Steve Bissett says. And that also seems to be true in the David Grush situation. The control group isn't assassinating him. They're not assassinating the participants in those programs that have talked to him, right? Like they may have done in times past. They're not, they may be administrative or bureaucratic terrorism, as he says. There's definitely some people that are trying to put the genie back in the bottle, but
Sure.
not like they used to be. And there are
Sure.
definitely seems like there's some pro-disclosure people within the control group that want this information out there. But it's just shocking that Mike was actually taken to one of these black sites where this shit was going down and shown some stuff. And we don't know what all he saw, and he can't talk about what all he saw. And they're so far not allowing him to show any evidence of it. It'd be great if that ultimately happens. Um,
That sounds a
but
little weird, doesn't it? So they want him to tell the story, not the full story, and not show evidence.
well, I mean,
Right.
that's probably what we're going to get with David Grush's whistleblowers too, is all testimony and no evidence. So it seems like
Well,
there's
but
some.
at least their testimony will be the whole story. Why can't Michael tell his whole story? I get the no
Well,
evidence, maybe.
Well, I think Michael can tell most of the whole story, but I think there's probably some things when you get to that level that are very secretive and, that are
I
very,
mean, he's kind of let
uh,
out all the secrets, hasn't
right,
he?
right,
I
right.
don't know what's
Exactly,
left.
exactly.
What's left
Well,
there?
what is left, right? And that may be the question. There may be some stuff that even they don't want out there. I'm sure there is. But either way, Joey is not my name was able to corroborate that Mike went to one of these black sites. So in my mind, that's not even,
You believe those guys?
yes, I saw evidence myself. So yeah, Mike did go to one of these places, and I have full confidence that he saw exactly what he says he saw. And that's so interesting about the implications of that, about these pro-transparency people at this black site. And we don't know who this black site is. Is it government? Is it, Lockheed Martin? Is it some other, we don't know. I'm assuming government.
But
I'm
it's
assuming
American.
I'm assuming, yeah, this is, yeah, I'm not going to give any details away. But yeah, I'm assuming this is like like a deep underground military base. But I don't, beyond that, I don't really have any hard, information on that.
Sure, sure. But yeah. I'm just curious your thoughts, and you interviewed Michael, right? You got to speak with him for hours. You got to see all this other stuff, and hearing your thoughts on it is good for me. You know what I mean? It's good to hear your opinion on all this. And the Joey is not my name because I find him fascinating that he's done this whole Reddit, this whole deep dive, all of this again under anonymity, which I just still don't get. He said he was advised to stay anonymous. I asked who. He said people. Then he said, well, Michael told me that as well. Um, I don't know. That would help Michael's story a lot if that guy wasn't anonymous.
That's what I told him. That's what I told him. And he agreed, but he's not ready to come forward yet.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's definitely turns off so many people, including myself. If I'm being honest, I mean, and I get it, no problem. When he comes out and shows everything, and we see more stuff, then I'm 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 there. Again, Michael's story is fascinating to me. It's a personal experience. He's saying, I was there. This is what happened to me. I listened to those. What am I going to say? Right. Like I like firsthand stories. I mean, somebody in the bunker, in the thing, he served our country, right? Regardless of whatever, like Michael has done a lot. So yeah, I'm fascinated by his story. And yeah, I'm excited to dive into it, man, and find out more about it, to be honest with you. So thank you for telling me
Sure.
that,
Well,
man.
I hope you have a great interview with him.
I don't know if I'm going to interview him.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay. All right.
I haven't
Just
gone
do a
that
piece
far.
on him. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. My channel, I don't really do too many interviews, dude. It's just not. I built my channel like you. You do the daily stuff like I do, kind of, right? We react to
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
We like
Yeah.
pulling stuff up, and that's kind of our thing. Which is why I like your channel, because it reminds me of mine a lot. You got a lot of passion. Um, you you present all of these different stories. You definitely pull a lot of stuff together. You do a lot of deep dives on stuff and show all kinds of different stuff, man, all kinds of different resources, and you source a lot of stuff. And you're consistent, dude. That's really hard to find in this field. You know what I mean? So yeah, just props to you for what you do. But
Well, thanks. We're
um,
right back at you, man. You're doing the same thing.
yeah, no, for sure. I appreciate that, man. That means a lot, dude, to be honest. What other stories that are out there that right now are kind of like get you going,
Oh yeah, well,
they're kind of cool.
I think you're probably more skeptical about this than I am, but I'm all
That's
over
okay.
the Nazca mummies, man. We got mummies.
Yeah.
We got alien
Hey,
bodies.
man, I'm
We got
still
bodies,
open to
y'all.
it. Yeah, I'm still open to it, man. I did a live stream of it. I had a bunch of people
Yeah,
watching.
yeah,
I
that's
was
right.
all
You
in.
did the
I was
disastrous,
killing me.
press event. Yeah,
I
yeah,
talked to Michael. I talked to Michael Mazzola after that, actually. Um, Look, he was not happy with how that went down either. Okay. Who would be? I said it on my live stream several times. Please do not judge the mummies based off this live stream. That's not fair to this investigation, like at all, right? Because that's what was happening. Oh, they can't. And I was kind of making joke. I had a 3 hour live stream, so I like to laugh, so we're having a good time with it. But yeah, no way do I think people should judge the mummies based off that live stream. That's just not
no,
fair
no,
to
it
what's
wasn't,
going
and
on.
apparently it was put together by a group that's not really a very good group. And
I mean, clearly,
hopefully they won't be managing the next press event. There is going to be another press event, I
April
think,
4th.
in yeah, April 4th. That's right. Man, do you think we're ever going to see one of the giant aliens? Well, we've got their hands. We've seen a reproduction of their head, of one of the
There's
heads.
hands out there. I didn't know. Haven't heard about this. Dude, I
Yeah,
have not heard about this.
yeah, they're 3 meter tall, supposedly beings that
Oh shit.
yeah, right, like 10 feet tall. There's different subspecies of the Nazca mummies, right? And they're not exclusively
Okay.
Nazca; they're all over. They seem to have had a global
Sure.
presence, and almost all of them are tridactyl. I think there's been one found in Mexico that had 4 fingers, but almost all of them are tridactyl and built on this tridactyl template. If there's some sort of hybrids or something, they're created on this template. And
Yeah.
there's different subspecies. There's what I call the classic Nazca mummies that were, presented, the three of them at the first Mexican UFO hearing, or the first or second. And then there's the various other varieties, like the kinds with the wing-like appendages or whatever they were. We have two of those bodies, and then we have multiple of the giants. Oh, and of course we have the human-sized ones like Maria, and a couple others. And then we have the giants that are these 9, 10 foot tall beings that we have been told there are intact specimens of those. We've also, but we only have the hands. We've only been shown, I think, three.
Wait, they're saying they have the 9 foot tall giants?
They're saying that they have not shown
Holy
any pictures or
shit.
video.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. Dude,
right.
of course I want to see that. That's
But yeah,
crazy.
but yeah. So there's apparently 10 foot tall or 9 foot tall giant aliens that they.
Wow.
Where are they?
Mm-mm.
Pony
Yeah.
up with the giant aliens, guys. Come on. Am I asking too much?
Am
Am
I?
I asking too much? I said that as soon as that happens, I'm
That's
putting my Santa
hilarious.
hat on.
Yeah.
I am doing a Christmas episode because Christmas has come when the giant aliens show up.
Oh, bro, you're cracking me up, Jack. No, that's funny. So the same people that are doing these Nazca mummies are doing the giant mummies?
Yeah, yeah.
How many Mason?
Well, I mean, he's the showman, but he's not the doctor. There's 50 plus scientists and doctors that have
Yeah.
looked into these. He's the one bringing this to our attention.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's what I mean. Is he going to bring the giants to our
yes,
attention?
yeah.
Is that
I
that'll be
mean,
his job?
he has talked about it. Will he do it? I'll believe it when
Dude,
I
how
see it
have
at
I
this
not
point.
heard of this? Well, that's crazy. I got to ask Michael about this. I wonder if that's going to be in the documentary.
We haven't
Um,
seen any pictures. We've seen a reproduction of one of the heads because apparently at least one of the giant alien heads has been sold to somebody in Hollywood. We don't know who. I forget if it's an actor or a director, but it's somebody in Hollywood has one of these
Spielberg
guys.
with the money he's got,
It would
right?
make
That
perfect
sounds like,
sense.
or Dan Aykroyd. He loves crystal skulls.
But I would like to think that if one of those got their hands on one of these things, they would open it up to science.
No,
So
dude, these are rich people. They want PCs, as they call them, personal collection,
you
bro.
think? I don't know.
Hell yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I hate that, right? I'm with you, but they're all about, dude, that's the thing. They love to display something you don't have and will never get your hands on. And what would be the greatest art piece like would be like this alien thing that you can't touch. And, woo, buddy, that sounds pretty cool. And even if you're like, turns out it's fake, you're like, yeah, but it's still cool. It's still cool no matter what. Look at this thing. Dude, I'd be all over that. Watch it be someone like, I don't know, Gloria Stefan or some weird name. You're just
Probably.
like, what?
All right.
Why she has this thing? Someone we're just not expecting, the mom from Malcolm in the Middle bought that. That's cool.
Who
Yeah,
knew?
I
Who
hadn't heard
knew?
that. Yeah, who knew she was in this? Yeah, that's fascinating. Wow. So, okay. So these mummies, that thing, I mean, I guess that's kind of the big stuff out there right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've got alien bodies. We've got alien bodies or hybrids or whatever the hell they are. They've
Yeah.
got scales. They're laying eggs. They've got 3 fingers and 3 hands. You
Is
know,
that what those eggs are in their bed? It's because they lay them?
yeah, there's actually a tactile, or not a tactile, a textile from the Nazca culture of the time, 1500 years ago, whatever it was, showing one of these guys laying an egg. Yeah, it's
I'm
got one egg.
sorry. What?
Yeah, I've shown it on the channel. Yeah.
Oh, really, dude? Wait. Is it like, what's it on? Like a wall or something, or
It's called a textile.
a textile? Like, what is? I
Yeah,
don't even know what that. I'm dumb. Jack,
yeah.
explain to me. And
I'm assuming like pottery or something.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, but you saw a picture of it,
Yeah. The
but you couldn't
picture.
tell what it was on.
Yeah.
It's
I couldn't
close
tell
up or
what it was
something.
on. I
I
couldn't tell what it was
gotcha.
on.
But it's a
Uh,
dude, not a dude, but one of these beings laying an egg.
yeah, it's laying an egg that is hatching, so you can see another being coming out of it, and it's got another being in its belly, and it's just kind of it's. I mean, it's not in great detail. It's one of these ancient,
Sure.
pictoglyphs or whatever. It's not.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think it's a pictoglyph. I'm saying that wrong because it's not wall art, but it's that in that style. So it's very more symbolic or representational. But it clearly shows one of the first of the classic Nazca mummies that were presented in that first hearing.
Laying an egg.
laying an egg. So yeah, they laid eggs. They had scaly skin. They had three fingers and three hands, three toes. They could have had three hands, but no, they had two hands. They some of them may have had retractable necks, and these like ET, right?
Yeah. Oh,
And,
okay. Yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah, you're right.
their skin hasn't been pierced. It's not like they could have been assembled in any way. The live CAT scans by the director of a hospital have shown them to be intact beings, not cobbled together dolls. They've got
What about the
DNA.
have they gotten one of the eggs open?
No, they've drilled into one to confirm that it's not a rock, because there were some debunkers that were trying to say it was a rock, so they drilled
The
into it
rock.
to make sure it wasn't a rock, and it wasn't a rock. And they've done scans of them. We've actually been able to see what the fetuses look like in these eggs, and it's kind of hard to say what they look like, kind of reptilian, I guess. But I would love it if they would be opened up. But we really need like a first class. I mean, I hate to go there, but we really need the best labs in the world to have access to these
I
things.
agree.
And
I agree, bro. I'm all about it. It's something nuts and bolts right in front of us that we can study. Like, let's go. What are we waiting for? I'm with you, man. I'm all about that. Like, I'm with you, dude. Like, when it comes to that, dude, why would we not? That sounds crazy. Don't let's either prove it's a hoax and tell them all, or prove it's real and let's change the world. I'm with you, man. I have a lot of family in Mexico, so I've heard about this stuff for a minute. I have a cousin who's a doctor actually in Guadalajara. Um, I haven't talked to him about it. I need to reach out to them and say, hey, what's up with these new mummies? What do you think of this? What's the story down there? What's the word on the street? Because it's again, it's fascinating. Let's get it to a lab and have everyone look at it. It's a lot of doctors. I don't like the dismissal of, oh, well, they're doctors from Mexico. They're not legit. Like, get the F
right,
out of here, man.
right,
What are
right,
you talking about, dude?
right.
There's real science and real medicine, sometimes better than than than's being done here. I hate to say it, like, in research that happens. So yeah, that argument's bunk for me. So there's a
No,
lot of
the
doctors and
chief,
scientists saying, "Hey, there's some legit stuff here. Let's keep looking."
yeah, we've got the directors of the hospital. We have the chief pathologist of the Mexican Navy. We've got
Yeah,
medically trained professors of ICA. We have all sorts of doctors and scientists that have looked at them. Some of them are from U.S. or Canada or Japan. They're
yeah. That's what
largely
Michael said. That there's a bunch of America in this new documentary. There's going to be a bunch of he said very reputable American doctors and scientists that are going to be part of this documentary that have examined these mummies that nobody knows about.
now. What we
So,
really need is because my wife is a molecular biologist and she's recombines DNA and stuff, and she has a buddy that is does gene sequencing. And she's an expert in that. And so we got her to look at the DNA data that's available on the
yeah.
mummies,
Oh,
and
yeah.
she wasn't she didn't think the proper protocols had been used. And she says you can kind of get different results and with different protocols, and if you want to, you could get any result you wanted basically, if you weren't following the proper protocols.
Yeah.
So I think the DNA especially really needs to be done by top-notch labs following
Sure.
protocols that mainstream science is going to embrace. You know,
I that's cool to hear her say that because this other guy that I speak to, Pavel, who's on the big thing that show the big I don't know anyway whatever he's great dude, man. I've been talking to him a lot, behind the scenes. He's in Mexico, we got that connection. He's in Tijuana. He lives in Tijuana, and his fiance is a molecular biologist in America though, in like San Diego, so he goes back and forth, right? Travel. And she said the same thing your wife said. That's what he told me. She said the exact same thing, that literally verbatim. In fact, I was starting to think, wait a second, is she dating two dudes that I don't know about? Am I about to? Because I mean, it's good to hear, right? That like, all right, let's let's get this done. Let's get this studied. But what does she think about, like, she agrees, right? We should study this.
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay,
100%.
that's cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But she does want really good labs doing this, following proper
Makes sense.
protocols.
That's her. Yeah, because she's an expert, right? Like
Yeah,
she knows her
yeah,
shit, and she's like, let's do this right. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
with you. I agree with her. Yeah, that's
I
cool.
just I want to know what the DNA says. What are these guys? I mean,
Yeah,
the DNA that we've seen so far is really interesting and compelling. But is it like really
I don't
good
know anything
results?
about that stuff, dude. I'm not
Me
a,
neither. Me neither.
I look at it and I'm just like, what? I don't tell some, I need
But
an expert tell me.
like the DNA that's been presented of Maria, showing that she has like a bunch of primate DNA, like different different great apes or monkeys, as well as human, and yet she's got apparently like scaly skin and three hands, and we don't know if she was laying eggs or not, but definitely not like primate in the way that we are. And I think she had scaly skin. I don't, some of them have scaly skin, like definitively scaly skin. I don't know about Maria, the human sized one.
Yeah, yeah,
But either way, she was a tridactyl. She had ape-like features, though. Big, jutting facial structures and more ape, kind of thing going on. Yeah, yeah. That's my impersonation of Maria. I'm Maria walking around. Got my big chin.
Oh, Jack, man, you
Uh,
crack me up, man. You're
oh, but
hilarious.
yeah, and but yeah, so she didn't have hair, and she probably had scaly skin, just like the others. But she also had what may be ape DNA, and that's really interesting. But we don't know because, again, it's not the proper protocols being followed. So
Yeah,
I would love to know
yeah,
what the actual results of the DNA test would be.
sure, of
But I don't want
course.
them to continue mutilating the bodies to get the DNA. Because they've got
I
to
mean,
extract.
that's a fair point, dude. I actually never thought about that, and that's actually a fair point because we do need to be careful with that. If it turns out they're what they think they are, then how do we fuck them up? Did we kind of? Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. That's a tough conversation, I guess, right? Because you got to be able to prove its value before you start valuing it that way. Does that make sense? Like so yeah, but that's a good point. They definitely need to be careful with that. Minimizing that at the highest quality. Where any test is done, it's the highest that could be done. So we're not messing around. No waste, I guess. Yeah, that's a good point, man. I actually hadn't thought about that.
And they've got priceless, artifacts or
Sure.
specimens that we need to preserve.
Yeah,
Um,
I
you
mean, for
know,
sure.
but at the same time, we have to study them, and unfortunately, you do kind of
Yeah.
damage them by studying them. Uh,
Yeah,
but
that's the problem. Yeah, that's a good point, man. But it is a good point. I think that just be careful. Maybe, just one big lab session one weekend or something.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
guys,
right.
we're gonna pull all nighters this weekend and just get this done. Let's get all the top dogs and let's study it. Yeah, that's cool. That's interesting.
But yeah,
So what?
so the
Oh,
textiles and the artwork of the peoples of the time, not just in the Nazca region, but globally, show similar beings with a tridactyl hands.
sure.
And so they seem to have had a global presence. And they were interacting with humans in some way, because they were depicted by the people and the people's artwork. So, what level of what was the involvement? What was the interaction? What were they doing?
Yeah, yeah,
Did they just come to visit on the weekends? Were they set up as the priests? Were they embedded in the community? Were they a
yeah,
part of the doing their own thing and they just
yeah,
seen every now and then? You know, what was going on? But the aliens or hybrids or whatever they were apparently interacting with humans 1500 7,000 years ago. That we know now. I mean, we can speculate, and there's other mythologies and stuff that you can get into, but there's hard evidence now to indicate that in non-humans were there and they were interacting with people, and that is just
yeah.
like the most fascinating thing. And this should be
Sure.
front page news everywhere, but like nobody's talking about it. And this is
Well,
disclosure. This is disclosure.
I mean, I get it. There's just been no hard evidence. Like to get the whole public out, you just need hard evidence. And
We got
honestly,
bodies. We got
I know,
bodies.
but they haven't been proven. Look. So I'm again, like I said, I've heard the stories of the mummies for a long time, man, for decades. And I know for a fact that they have hoaxed these things,
Okay. So the
down in
Nazca
Mexico.
mummies were only found recently, but
But
there have been
they've,
hoaxes forever, and
yes,
there
man,
are
very
hoaxes.
similar to this. In fact, my whole life growing up, in Mexico, I've been to some of these exhibits. I've seen these things. I see how it's done. Um, And I'm not saying that's what this is. I'm just saying that there is a history of that, which makes it complicated, right?
Sure.
To get behind that is like indisputable proof. But I'm with you about, of course, study it. We should study, dude. We should be looking at the skies. We should have a program in the government. We should have oversight. All these things should exist, regardless. We don't need to wait to see if it's real or not. We need to be doing these things regardless on, for everyone involved. If you believe, cool, you're glad we did it. If you don't believe, hey, it's for safety, for insurance reasons we do it, right? Like either way, it should be something that's done. So like, you know what I mean? I'm all about having it go that way, but I think like getting the entire world behind maybe the reality changing, it's I just think a lot of people need pretty indisputable proof. And I can't say I disagree from a societal level. For a personal level, everyone's got to decide what line needs to be crossed in front of them for them to be, okay, I believe this, right? Everyone's got a different line there. But on a societal level, it's probably a good filter for us as a society that that standard of evidence or proof is so high for something so profound that that way other imitations can't bleed into our society and thus maybe take us down a path we were not intended. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, for sure. In the Nazca mummies, there have been some hoaxes and some altered bodies. Like if you watch the Gaia documentary about the Nazca mummies, they rejected studying one of the bodies because they had found
Yeah.
signs of manipulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's that's among that sample. But there have been lots of hoaxes and lots of stuff made for tourists, and
Sure.
but if these were fake, there's over 100. We've been told there may be 150 of these bodies. They wouldn't be given to science. They would be sold on the black market, where they would actually make a lot more money. I don't
Yeah.
expect
Hey,
Terry
that's a fair
Gamon
point.
is yeah. So
Fair
and
point.
again, their skin hasn't been broken except by the scientists. The skeletons are intact; they're not cobbled together. We have these beings depicted in ancient artwork, so I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's locked in. It's 100%. This is disclosure, and it deserves the
Oh,
widest.
you're in on those mummies,
I'm
100%.
in on the mummies. I'm
Oh,
in on
wow.
the mummies.
Oh
A
man, no, I
hundred.
can't go that far. I need to see the proof. But I'm 100% open to studying them and
I
investigating them.
released a 2.5 hour compilation of my videos on the mummies showing the research that has been done on these
Hell
amazing
yeah, man.
specimens.
Good
So if you
job.
have 2.5 hours to kill, well, go watch Dune. But if you have another two and a half
Yeah.
hours to kill, go watch my Nazca mummies.
That was great, Jack. Go watch Doom. But if you have another tune, that was funny, man. Oh God, you're hilarious, dude. You crack me up. You make these conversations so fun, man. I got to be honest. Yeah. Okay. Look, hey, man, I get it. You're in on it. I get it. Hey, I'm waiting. They release the studies and say, yeah, they're real. Fucking, let's go, baby.
Okay. Well, all right.
That's
Change of
awesome.
subject. So, what are you excited about that's going on right now?
Hey, great question. I like, I don't think there's really one. You know what? I take that back. I'm really excited for James Fox's new documentary to come out. If I'm being honest. I
Oh
fucking
yeah.
cannot wait to see that thing. I'm excited for Lou Elizondo's book, his documentary. This is gonna be a great year for that kind of stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I'm excited for that stuff to come out. As far as I'm kind of starting to lean away a little bit from the government stuff a little bit, man, just because it's like getting too political. I don't like to get political myself. Um, and just continue on David Grush's story for sure. That's always like pinned at the top, I want to follow through with that story because it's the most enticing to me.
Well, it's super enticing. I mean, David Grush
Yeah,
is where it's at. Absolutely,
yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah.
David Grush is the whistleblower that's going to blow this thing wide open. I mean, they're already passing legislation based on his information.
Yeah,
Uh,
we've made leaps forward, right? When it comes, I mean, sometimes legislation just takes, you got to try a few times. I mean, I don't know any legislation that's just all the way through passing on the first time. I mean, it takes years to get certain laws passed or certain, right? I mean, so bring it up next year, the year after, and
yeah, I
just
mean,
keep pushing.
yeah, I mean, there was legislation passed. It was kind of toothless, but it
It's a
was.
start.
But
It's a
they are
start.
passing legislation based on the stuff, and they're gonna beef it up. I think maybe.
Dude, they'll
So
try again this next year. They will, because that's a good thing. It's every year you get to apply for the budget, right, to get something in. So I'm glad. We'll just try again.
okay. So about James Fox's documentary, he has said that he did the same thing that Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp did, where he would back up the Arrow testimony. You know, the people that came to give testimony to
Oh,
Arrow.
he did?
He would get them talking to him, just like Jeremy and George did. And
Oh, he said he wants to get them for his documentary. Is that what he's
well,
saying?
I know that's my question to you. Do you think
Oh,
if he was able to get them on camera,
that would be awesome.
talking about their stuff, is he going to show it in the documentary? Because it is called the program, right? It is about the
Yeah.
control group,
Yeah.
and these are the government guys that I think that he's talked to, and Lockheed Martin, whoever they are, that is, that apparently he's been talking to and may have on video, basically repeating the unclassified portions of the testimony they gave to Arrow. The same thing that, David Grush, we have the unclassified version of it. So could we get that in the program? I'm super jazzed about that. I don't know that they may not want to do that because they may want to save that for maximum impact with the hearings, but if the program comes after the hearings, then, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, no, you make some good points. Well, tentatively, the documentary is supposed to arrive end of summer 2024, right here, just about 3 months before the election, right? We're talking August, maybe end of July. Now that's tentatively, and that was a couple months ago. So who knows, right? James is also dealing with the distribution issue, past distribution issue. Even if he signed a new deal, you're working with a new company, there could be, more bumps in the road to get your stuff out the first time as they're working with you and setting that process up. So that could change. And then your point about the details inside of the documentary, right? Like who they're talking to, what, that's where the story is because, you've got the Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, Arrow. The witnesses are not all the same, actually. I do know that there's witnesses that only talk to Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, witnesses that only talk to James Fox, witnesses that only talk to, Lou Elizondo or whatever. You know what I mean? That and Greer even. Okay, that's true. Say what you want about Greer, but he is
I
someone
will.
that some of the he is someone that people do trust and will go to as a whistleblower
Oh,
first,
for sure. I
right?
mean, we wouldn't have Michael
I.e.
Herrera
Michael
without Greer.
Herrera.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I.e. Michael Herrera is a great example. So I'm not saying Michael Herrera's story is true. Again, just me personally. I don't know that. I haven't seen what you've seen. I haven't done the dive. But regardless, he is someone that he had a story. He trusted Greer and he went to him. So everyone's got their appeal and they're not all connected, right? Which is intriguing to me, if I'm being honest, right? That's I like that in the sense of there's some credibility to that, compartmentalization. So will James Fox, get the Jeremy? I don't know if I bet some of them overlap, but I don't think it's all about this control group that you're saying. So when he calls it the program, I think he's getting at the idea of a reverse engineering crash retrieval program and everything around that, right? So I think he is going to show whistleblowers on camera for the first time that are not out and will not have not been made public until his movie comes out. I do feel that because he's shown that he will disguise a voice. He will just shoot somebody from behind, right? But at least he's showing you I'm getting it from a human being right here. This is So some of them might go that way. They might use James as their first time to come out in public. Therefore, maybe some of these hearings that they would be a part of actually won't be till the fall, right before the election. Okay. It's tough to say, man, but Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp are kind of very guarded about, and I get that. If there is this sort of stovepiping of witnesses and whistleblowers, I get why you're like, okay, you guys are with me, so don't go on James's, film. Plus I also think Jeremy would want to release his own stuff. He wouldn't want to be like, oh, you release an interview with the same guy I have a video of. I'd like to release that myself, which I get, I totally get that. So I don't know. I kind of think it's exciting that more of them are going to come out in different ways from different places.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
No,
I think that's cool. So, but I'm definitely, dude, he makes awesome documentaries, bro.
he does.
So like, I can't wait to see it. I don't care what he puts in it, dude. It's going to be good. It's going to be intriguing. It's going to be fascinating. It's probably going to be the most line pushing film he's put out. He's going to poke the bear like he's never done before. And that's interesting because when I interviewed him, I remember him saying he had a progression of his documentaries. Okay, I'm doing Close Encounters of the First Kind. Then I'm moving into Close Encounters of the Second Kind, right? Then I'm moving into the third, right? And now I'm Moment of Contact, Virginia. Okay, this is Close Encounters of the Third Kind right here, right? So what's next after that for him? The program, right? Let's get to where we are and how are we dealing with all the close encounters, right? All the way to maybe CE5, right? Which, by the way, what's CE4?
Is that abductions?
What's the fourth kind?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Abductions. Okay. And then contact.
Don't quote me on that. I have to look that up.
No, but I think you're right. I think you are right. I wonder what CE6 is, bro. What is that? You become an alien.
You become the alien. Yeah.
That's transcendence.
You're doing salvia with the beings. And yeah.
Good callback, bro. Good callback, Jack. I love it. Comedy's in the callbacks, bro. So good job. No, man. Yeah, dude, this is so fun to talk to you about this stuff, to be honest with you. I enjoy, I don't get to talk to too many people like this in a fun way about it and get their opinions and where they sit on these things. Very cool.
Well, man, it's been a lot of fun. It's been about 2 hours. You want to call it a day?
Yeah, man. I think I got no more alien in me.
Okay. Sounds good, man. All right. It's been a blast, Patrick. I loved it. And let's do it again.
Oh, 100%, Jack. Awesome, man. Hey, good luck with everything. My best to you and your family, dude.
All right. You too.
All right, boss. Talk soon.
All right. Later.
Late.
There you go. I hope you've enjoyed that very special episode of Cosmic Road between me and Patrick. I hope you got a lot out of it. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Discord, links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, please consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member, because channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.